Wheat, pretty much sideways situation. Again, you don't have any conclusive trend one way or the other. Going back, it's like one of those markets that everybody is having a hard time sometimes figuring out. Well, if there's so much wheat in the world and the demand, it's kind of staying up there. The dollar is going to put some pressure on it. Can wheat stay up there? In the case of wheat, you probably don't have a really good predicted high or low signal that you can use to get into the market. The predicted differences are relatively flat and sideways, so you don't have a whole lot going on there that you can build a case for trading in wheat as a signal. Sugar, I mentioned that. It's made its run. In the case of after it's made its trend, it's hard to chase. And so if you are watching the market, this is, again, not something that you jump in automatically, but let's say that you are trading sugar and are watching the trend go up. You want to keep a stop below the predicted next day low, this pink line over here. And for example, for today, if it were below the predicted low is 27.14. If the market were to drop to, let's say, 27 even or a little lower, it might be a short trade, something to look at. The predicted differences down here are weaker, moving sideways to down. Again, not real conclusive, but it's a situation where if you're prepared for the move, then you'll be able to jump in when it does occur. It'll kind of like take you in the market into a trade almost automatically. Okay, I'm going to switch back over here now to our other screen and kind of finish up with the markets. You may have, again, some other markets that you would like to talk about or ask questions about or share. But I want to just wrap up this webinar by talking a little bit about some of the key things to watch in 2010. Again, sorry I can't be more conclusive and tell you exactly what they're going to do, but all I can say is that when you have the tools to keep an eye on what they're going to do, it's very helpful to be able to get into a market when it does happen. The key influences you want to watch, I think, again, the stimulus funding situation, the spending that the government does, how will that impact the market? I think that's going to be, again, a key throughout 2010. And whether that changes, when some of the programs run out, let's say in March, is the government going to extend those? Is it going to extend unemployment benefits for multiple months? Many things there that will affect the economy. Then, of course, how does the economy respond? Hard to say right now. I don't think anything really happens until you get kind of a housing recovery, a bottom of something happening in housing. Will that happen with the programs they have in place? Very hard to say. And then you have to deal with the government, various other government legislations, regulations that are likely to impact the markets as they are more intrusive of the free markets than probably at any time in recent years. The key markets to watch, definitely U.S. dollar, what the dollar does. The others will also react accordingly. If you have a strong dollar, you generally will have weak commodity prices or vice versa. So you can look at the commodity prices. If they're weak, you might say, okay, strong dollar, or go the other way. So you have to look at that intermarket analysis aspect of trading to determine what some market might do based on what some other markets are doing. And of course, interest rates. I think that's kind of the key to what will happen economically and will be the key to whether we are looking at high inflation, deflation, whatever. It's going to be interesting to see how everything turns out ultimately. It'd be nice to have that opportunity to go out like 5 years in the future and look back, but that's not what we got. We only have the charts to look at from what has happened in the past. So it's for sure, I can predict it will be an interesting year, but I can't predict that the prices are going to do this or that. So I hope you didn't come with the intention of that's what it was going to be. I just am saying that I like to use the Vantage Point tools that I have at hand, and they will help guide me through the short-term analysis of the markets in the year ahead. Now, if there are any questions that you would have, I'd be glad to answer any of those. I don't know if you know what your interest is. It's on the screen there. If you're interested in Vantage Point, the contact information is there. Darla is going to talk to you a little bit more about the click here indication there and how you can get a hold of it if you wish. But I'm open to any questions about markets. You know, give you my views. As I say, there are many views out there, but I can share what I think, and that's about as far as I can go with what my market outlook is. Okay. I am not also predict is that we're going to have more webinars. We're going to be cover individual markets. We're going to be talking about strategies. We're going to be talking about what influences markets and what to look for. This is kind of, as I say, it's one of those, it's a very tough webinar to do because you're trying to look ahead for a whole year when in reality trading practice, we're really looking only at short-term market forecasts, and so that, you know, that's the forte is not looking for the year ahead, but it's always kind of fun because everybody likes to do it and everybody likes to make resolutions and so forth. So I guess it's one of those things that hopefully you can get something out of it by you know, following along what the markets are doing and then take action based upon your short-term signals. So Darla, if there are no questions, I guess I will turn it back to you, and you can talk to the folks about the contact information that they see on the screen.
Okay, thank you, Darrell. For the benefit of our audience, today's webcast will be available on Trader Planet later this afternoon, and we will email each of you with a link to the archive. Lastly, the link on this final slide will permit you to request free market forecasts and additional information on Vantage Point intermarket analysis software. If you'd like to give Darrell some applause for an excellent presentation, please use the raising hand icon located beneath the chat Q&A window where you were selecting agree and disagree, and just choose the applause. Let him know that we appreciate his efforts. Thank you so much. Concludes today's webinar session.